What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showcasing the daily race that was for last week on Gran Turismo 7, which is going to be taking us to the Nürburgring track. So this was going to be a very interesting race, very interesting week, to be honest with you all. This was the main good race that I was able to record. The other ones were going to be a little bit less forgiving, and I wasn't able to really showcase anything special because there was just so much chaos going on with the track and all that stuff. So I believe Polyphony added this track to pretty much commemorate for the GT World Series that's going on right now with all the professional drivers. And I think the daily races for the week are going to be essentially lining up with the event until it's over. I think it's sometime in mid-October that it should be concluding. So I was pretty excited that they added the Nürburgring track until I started realizing all the issues that was going to be coming with this selection. Mainly, it's going to be a lot of drivers that are going to be joining due to the fact that we are getting a 1000% bonus on our credits, because everyone knows sport mode credits for races is absolute dog poop. So with the addition of a higher reward, there's going to be the addition of a higher player count, and a higher player count is going to also equal more chaos, as you guys are going to see right as we see above us in this clip. Cars are already starting to spin out and such. People that don't play as much multiplayer are finally going to be joining in and don't know the proper race etiquette and such, or at least they don't know how to not completely kill you and just take you off of the track because they're not familiar with how different the online racing is compared to the campaign. So of course there's going to be a lot of mess and a lot of mishaps and stuff. I still enjoyed it because I always love running up the Nürburgring track, whether if it's on multiplayer or if it's on campaign. It's just incredibly fun because it really puts your skills to the test. And if you're knowledgeable about the track and you have a car that you're very comfortable with, then you can shave off a couple seconds each time you do the lap, and you'll notice an improvement going through each time you go through, and it's just super fun. I always love doing Nürburgring. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and focus back onto the race. Right now we're gonna be in 8th position, trying to see what we can do with these cars. We have a group of cars ahead of us that are still kind of battling it out, so we're going to see what we can do to snag a position. This orange Mercedes AMG did get a little bit of tailspin oversteer, as you saw a couple seconds ago, but I just wasn't quite able to snag his position just yet, but it's all good. We're going to hang back and just maintain our racing line for right now, see what we can do, see if anyone's going to be making mistakes coming up on the track, because rest assured, on the Nürburgring track, people will make a lot of mistakes. So I'm just going to hang back and just stick with the racing line for right now. So for this week, I decided to go ahead and use the 4GT second generation because I've used this car throughout the previous daily races that just weren't recorded, that I didn't upload to the channel. This car does have very, very solid top speed, and it does have some decent acceleration as well, but it mainly excels in the top speed, which is what we're really going to mainly aim for, I would say, for this Nürburgring track, especially on that very last super straightaway. But in addition to that top speed, you do come with a little bit of a trade-off with the 4GT whenever it comes to the handling. I've noticed that it does have some significant understeer. Whenever it comes to wide winding turns that don't require you to hit the brakes fully, but it requires you to just kind of like, glide with the apex and all that stuff, this car does kind of struggle a little bit with that. It has solid stability whenever it comes to turns like this, but whenever it's those turns that have some elevation, the car does seem like it just kind of just wants to float with it rather than grip the tarmac. So you kind of have to either let off significantly on the gas, or you just have to barely tap the brakes just a tiny bit in order to keep it stable and grounded on the track, like I just did a couple seconds ago with that winding turn. As far as curbs, none of the cars that you want to be driving in the Gr.3 series, or really any car just for that matter, you really want to stay away from the curbs on Nürburgring, because these curbs are very raised and they're just very deadly. If you take one wrong turn, it can make the car completely spaz out, and once it's straightened out, it's going to straighten you out right into the grass or into a rail, which is what you don't want to do, because you're going to lose significant time. You could even see right there, I went over the curb and I did get some oversteer and caused me to kind of spin a little bit. So I did lose some momentum and a little bit of time, and because of that, I lost my position to this Jaguar and also to this orange AMG that we're mainly going to be battling for this race. So, and this other AMG as well too, that just completely teleported out of nowhere. So right now I'm just going to see what I can do to try and maintain my racing line and get some speed. Hopefully we'll get some draft going here and see if we can overtake some of these guys that are going to be ahead of us. One thing to know about the Nürburgring, of course, if you've never driven it, I would recommend to get your practice in so you can find out your strengths and weaknesses of the track, because it is very challenging. It is very difficult to try and overtake opponents on this track because of how narrow and how fast it is. Right there I hit the brakes because, like I mentioned, the 4GT does have some understeer, and if I didn't hit the brakes, I was going to go straight into the grass and railing. But back onto the subject, you really don't want to try your luck too much whenever it comes to overtaking on this track. The best opportunity that you're going to have is going to be at the very beginning, which is the Grand Prix part of the track, because it has a lot more open road and it gives you better space and better opportunity to overtake. But on the Nordschleife part of this track, you don't want to try your luck too much, because again, because there's a lot of players that don't normally do sport mode that are running up this track purely because of the credit boost. They're not going to be as experienced, and they're going to cost you a lot of time and a lot of momentum. And if you see people battling up like these two dudes in front of me are having a sword fight, just let them duke it out. They'll solve it on their own, and if you end up lucky enough, they'll end up wiping each other out, and you can take both the positions, and you avoid the fight, and you also get the positions that you needed to get further up into the podium positions and all that stuff. So yeah, you can see they've been battling out. On top of that, they both also have penalties, so that's just another reason and another thing that you want to look out for on this track. If they have penalties, you really don't want to battle them. And right here, the orange AMG just slightly tapped me on the side of the car and kind of just knocked me off of the track for a tiny bit. And unfortunately, because of that, I did lose some positions, and I was bumped down into 12th position, which was second to last, but it seems like a player left, and it automatically repositioned me back to 11th spot. But that's back to the point. Like, you really don't want to do too many battles. If you can avoid a collision on this track, just do what you can. Just if you have to lose a position for that moment, just make the sacrifice, and you'll more than likely be able to make up for it in other spots. Usually on this turn you can do decent overtakes, but once you get to the straightaway that's coming up, you'll be able to hopefully draft behind some of the people that are ahead of you if they're within the range and all that stuff. But yeah, a guy over there spun out, and then right here I made a very stupid mistake, and I accidentally shifted to 6th gear whenever I didn't fully use the full power of the 5th gear. So I ended up, I'm assuming I ended up losing about half a position or half a second of time because of that very, very small mistake that just so happened to end up on the most important part of the track, which is a straightaway. But on the bright side, those two guys that were sword fighting earlier ended up finally hitting their line for the penalties. So they lost a significant amount of time, and I was able to overtake them. But because I did that stupid early shift, I feel like I could have been able to at least take this one more spot in front of me for 6th position, but they were just a lot quicker, and I just wasn't able to. I wasn't able to make the execution. So we ended the race in 7th position, which is going to be one more than what we started with, which was 8th. Considering I got knocked off to the track for a tiny bit and I lost 3 positions and went to 12th, it wasn't that bad of a race. I mean, it was only 1 position gain, but still pretty solid and not too many mistakes. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. There's going to be plenty more Gran Turismo daily races coming up. I might even upload a couple more this week with no commentary, just to see if you guys rather enjoy that instead. But anyways, guys, I will see y'all in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.